Hello. Today, we will talk about the foundations of the military power of the Roman Empire. The military strength of the Roman Empire gained worldwide fame thanks to a powerful army of the country. Along the borders of his empire, military units were strategically deployed and constantly reinforced. The foundation of the Roman army dates back to the period of the Roman Republic. In the early periods of the Roman Republic, the army was created by citizens. These citizens used to buy their own weapons and fight for Rome in wartime. This was part of the strength of the Roman Empire because every citizen was ready for war to contribute to the defense of Rome. However, with the expansion of the Roman Empire, the army also grew. The Roman army was created by professional military units located all over the empire. These units were constantly trained and prepared to protect the borders of the empire and secure the rule of Rome. The Roman army had tactics and technologies developed for warfare. For example, the Roman army directed the battle using tactically improved spears and shields. In addition, advanced technological devices such as chariots, armored chariots, and ballistas were also used. Another basis of the military power of the Roman Empire was the admission of people from different cultures of the empire into the army. The Roman army was filled with people from all over the empire, and these people contributed to the effectiveness and strength of the army. As a result, the military strength of the Roman Empire was unified by the participation of citizens and the establishment of professional military units. This combination allowed the Roman Empire to become one of the most powerful and effective armies in the history of the world. We will talk about the organization and hierarchy of the military power of the Roman Empire. The Roman army was formed to protect the borders of the empire, repel attacks, and ensure the expansion of the empire. The organization of the army was shaped on the basis of the system created during the reign of Emperor Augustus, 27 BC, 14 AD. The Roman army was organized as a legion consisting of 5 mounted cavalry and 25,000 infantry soldiers. Each legion consisted of 10 cohorts and each cohort consisted of 6 maniples. Manipule was the smallest military unit, consisting of about 120 soldiers. Each manipule consisted of 2 semi-manipulated sections under the command of 2 captains. This system enabled the army to act and coordinate quickly and effectively. At the top of the legion was a commander called the legatus. The legatus was chosen from the senators or from the Roman aristocracy. The commanders at the head of the cohorts were called tribunes, and the command of the maniples was the responsibility of the captains. The commander at the top of the Roman army was the emperor or empress. The emperor would be responsible for the overall control of the army. During wartime, the emperor would go to the front with the soldiers and determine the direction of the war. As a result, the organization and hierarchy of the Roman army was established with a system that allowed it to move interconnectedly and quickly. Each military unit had the responsibility of reporting to the commander above it. This allowed the army to have strong coordination and fight effectively. We will talk about the weapons and equipment used by the army of the Roman Empire. The Roman army was one of the most effective armies in history and owed its success to the quality of the weapons and equipment it used. The Roman army used a variety of weapons for infantry soldiers, such as swords, spears, crows, bows and arrows. One of his most important weapons, however, was the gladiator, a short sword. The gladiator was used in hand-to-hand combat and allowed soldiers to effectively defend against each other. The Roman army also used artillery, such as the ballista and the catapult, which were various weapons placed in the arsenal. These devices were used to attack enemy soldiers from a distance. In addition, equipment was also very important for the Roman army. Armors, shields, helmets and pieces of armor were the main equipment used to protect soldiers. These were usually made of steel and provided protection to soldiers both during defense and attack. The soldiers also carried food, water, clothes, tools and other supplies in bags that they carried on their backs. These were vital for the survival of soldiers during long expeditions. As a result, the weapons and equipment of the Roman army were effectively used to protect and expand the borders of the empire. The Roman army was a unique military force in history, and these weapons and equipment used helped it maintain this reputation. We will talk about the training and discipline of the army of the Roman Empire. The Roman army is considered one of the most effective armies in the world and received this success not only from its weapons and equipment, but also from its training and disciplinary systems. Candidates who wanted to join the Roman army would have started their military training at about the age of 16. The first level of education would start with the learning of basic movements and tactics. Then, the soldiers would receive further training on the use of weapons and combat strategies. Soldiers would also be prepared physically, including fitness, martial arts and other military skills. These were very important to increase the endurance of soldiers and help them endure in long-term battles. The Roman army was trained not only physically, but also mentally. Soldiers used to receive training on subjects such as history, geography, mathematics and grammar. This would have helped the soldiers to prepare for all kinds of scenarios that they might face during the war. However, it is worth noting that the Roman army received strength not only from training, but also from discipline. The Roman army had a disciplined structure, and soldiers had to act in a disciplined way. A disciplined structure would have allowed soldiers to act more effectively during the war. Discipline was of vital importance under the harsh conditions in which the Roman army had to fight for survival. The soldiers were strictly controlled by their superiors who gave the decrees, and thus unity and harmony between the soldiers were increased. As a result, the training and disciplinary system of the Roman army ensured that it was one of the most effective armies in the world. Roman soldiers acquired not only combat skills, but also mental and physical endurance. A disciplined structure allowed soldiers to act more effectively. We will talk about the tactics and battle strategies of the army of the Roman Empire. The Roman army has taken part in many battles throughout history and has won many victories. Behind these victories, the tactics and battle strategies of the Roman army played an important role. The Roman army was divided into 3 different divisions in battle: light infantry, heavy infantry, and cavalry. Light infantry was usually composed of archers and spearmen and was used to block the movements of enemy soldiers. Heavy infantry consisted of armored soldiers and was used to make direct attacks on enemy soldiers. Cavalry, on the other hand, were fast and mobile and were used to turn the enemy's back or fend off attacks. The Roman army also used many different tactics to disrupt the enemy's strategies. One of them was the tactic known as arguing. In this tactic, the Roman army would stage a misleading attack to fool the enemy and thus disrupt the enemy's concentration and fend off their attacks. Another tactic is known as testudo. This tactic was formed when Roman soldiers joined their shields together like a shield wall. This tactic provided an effective defense against the enemy's arrow or spear shots and allowed the soldiers to advance safely. The Roman army used many different strategies to gain the upper hand in battle. One of them was to divide the enemy's forces and thus defeat them one by one. Another strategy was to cut off the enemy's resources and thus prevent them from continuing the war. As a result, the Roman army used many different tactics and strategies to gain the upper hand in battle. These tactics and strategies played an important role in the victories of the Roman army. We will talk about the advantages of the army of the Roman Empire on the battlefield. The Roman army has taken part in many battles throughout history and has won many victories. Behind these victories, the Roman army has advantages on the battlefield. One of them is the discipline and training of the Roman army. Roman soldiers were regularly trained and acquired the skills necessary to succeed in battle. Also, the Roman army would have acted in a disciplined manner, which would have helped them gain the upper hand in battle. The Roman army also developed weapons and equipment used in warfare. The Roman army had the upper hand against its enemies with heavy infantry and cavalry units. Also, the Roman army had an excellent logistics system, which would have helped them gain the upper hand in battle. The Roman army was also innovative and creative in the tactics used in warfare. For example, the Roman army often used the testudo tactic in battle. In this tactic, Roman soldiers would connect their shields like a wall. This would have ensured the protection of the soldiers against enemy arrows and provided resistance against the enemy's attacks. The Roman army also used many different tactics to disrupt the enemy's strategies in battle. These tactics were used to fool the enemy, disrupt their concentration and thus easily defeat them. As a result, the Roman army had many advantages in the war. Thanks to its disciplined and trained soldiers, advanced weapons and equipment, excellent logistic systems and creative tactics, the Roman army excelled in many battles. We will talk about the strategies of the Roman Empire in naval battles. The Roman army was successful not only in land battles, but also in naval battles. The Roman army used several strategies in naval battles. One of them is the chain network strategy of the Roman army, which protects its ships from the outside. This strategy is a technique in which the ships are decked side by side with chains, thus preventing the enemy's ships from getting between the Roman ships. This strategy enabled the Roman ships to defend against enemy attack. The Roman army also used a device called a corvus in naval battles. The corvus was a bridge device by which Roman ships attacked enemy ships. This device allowed Roman soldiers to quickly get out to the enemy ship and capture the ship. The Roman army also used its maneuverability in naval battles to surround and capture enemy ships. This strategy also gave importance to the Roman army ship training, since Roman ships had to move quickly and nimbly. The Roman army also used offensive strategies to raid enemy fleets. This strategy was used to destroy or capture the enemy's ships, attacking strategic points of the enemy fleet. As a result, the Roman army also used many strategies in naval battles. Using techniques such as the chain network strategy, the corvus device, maneuverability, and raiding strategies, the Roman army was also successful at sea. We will talk about the siege strategies of the Roman Empire. The Roman army was quite successful in siege strategies. The Roman army used several different siege strategies to capture a city or fortress. One of them was that the Roman army moved slowly but steadily during the siege. The Roman army, by surrounding the city or fortress, would use the encirclement to cut off the enemy's supplies and break its morale. This would have broken the enemy's resistance and eventually led to his surrender. The Roman army also used several different techniques to overcome enemy defenses during a siege. One of them was that the Roman army dug tunnels into the besieged fortress and placed bombs under the walls inside the fortress. This would have provided a way for the Roman army to enter the fortress and overcome the enemy defenses. The Roman army would also cut off food supplies to condemn the besieged fortress to starvation. The Roman army also used psychological tactics to break the enemy's morale during the siege. These tactics were used to discourage the enemy and force them to surrender. As a result, the Roman army used many strategies during the siege. Techniques such as moving slowly but steadily, encircling, digging tunnels and demoralizing the enemy enabled the Roman army to succeed. We will talk about the military engineering skills of the Roman Empire. The Roman army had some of the most successful military engineering skills in history. The Roman army used its military engineering skills in many different ways, especially by making war machines and carrying out construction projects. For example, the Roman army used to try to defeat the enemy using various machines during the war. These include ballistas, decoys, arrow shooters and ballistas. These machines were used to penetrate the enemy's defenses or to break through the walls and enter the fortress or city. The Roman army also tried to defeat the enemy by carrying out construction projects during the war. The Roman army was quite successful in the construction of military camps, roads and bridges. These projects increased the mobility of the Roman army and made it difficult for the enemy to advance. The Roman army also used its military engineering skills to besiege castles or cities during the war. This includes techniques such as digging tunnels, demolishing fortifications and fortress walls, and breaking through the defenses of the besieged enemy. As a result, the Roman army was quite successful in military engineering skills. He tried to defeat the enemy by making war machines, carrying out construction projects and using siege techniques. These skills contributed to the successes of the Roman army. we will talk about the collapse of the military power of the Roman Empire and its causes. The Roman Empire was one of the most powerful and influential empires in history. However, over time, its military power collapsed, and this situation brought the end of the empire. Many factors are included among the reasons for the decadence of the military power of the Roman Empire. These include economic problems, an increase in military spending, inadequacies in military leadership, social decadence, and barbarian invasions. First of all, the economy of the Roman Empire began to collapse. The Roman Empire, which was growing and expanding rapidly, required a large amount of resources to maintain military expenditures and a large army. This situation emptied the treasury and led to the borrowing of the empire. However, the inadequacies of the Roman Empire in military leadership also caused the collapse of its military power. The Roman Empire failed in military operations and defense, as the number of successful leaders decreased. Also, the army of the Roman Empire, along with the use of foreign mercenaries, replaced Roman citizens. This situation has reduced the commitment and effectiveness of military units. Social collapse also caused the collapse of the military power of the Roman Empire. Social and political instability reduced the number of citizens serving in the Roman army. During the decline of the Roman Empire, the barbarian attack on Rome also played a major role in the collapse of military power. As a result, there are many reasons for the collapse of the military power of the Roman Empire. Economic problems, the increase in military expenditures, inadequacies in military leadership, social collapse, and barbarian invasions are among the factors that weakened the military power of the Roman Empire.